All right, so we're diving into this crypto deep dive report today. It's specifically this snapshot they took of the crypto market on January 20th, 2025. And the main takeaway, things are pretty wild.
Yeah, no kidding. It's interesting because the overall market cap is down, but the trading volume, that's gone way up. It's not your typical market behavior.
Yeah, it really does seem like people are like scrambling to make moves.
Yeah.
Even with the dip. Do you think maybe this is a sign that people are trying to get ahead of like something big?
It's possible. The report does mention that there are concerns about a potential Bitcoin correction happening sometime by March, and they say it's because of liquidity issues. So maybe some investors are trying to get in a good spot before that correction hits.
Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin then, because it hit $109,000 on inauguration day. That can't just be a coincidence, right?
Yeah, the report actually suggests that it might be tied to the U.S. debt ceiling crisis that's coming up.
Yeah.
Some investors might be seeing Bitcoin as kind of a safe haven asset, like how people see gold, in times when the economy is uncertain.
So like digital gold. It's an interesting concept. But what do you think? For like the average investor, is this a time to buy in or be more cautious?
I'd say it's always best to be cautious, especially with a market as volatile as crypto. If you're thinking about investing, you got to do your research and really understand the risks involved. I mean, past performance doesn't guarantee future returns.
That's good advice for sure. So let's switch gears a bit and talk about regulation, because the US SEC is going after Nova Labs right now. But then on the other hand, Europe is like tightening its grip on stablecoins with MiCA. Those seem like two very different approaches.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. seems to be taking more of a reactive approach, like they're focusing on cracking down on anything they think is an unregistered security. But Europe is being much more proactive. They're trying to set up a comprehensive regulatory framework for the entire crypto market.
So two very different paths. So for someone like you who's interested in investing in crypto, what do you think this means?
Well, it definitely makes things more complex. The U.S. approach could end up stifling innovation, but the European model might actually attract more institutional investors because they're looking for a regulated environment. It'll be interesting to see how these two approaches kind of play out and, influence the global crypto market.
Okay, so we've got Bitcoin potentially reacting to what's happening with the global economy. We've got the SEC cracking down, and Europe's going its own way with regulation. That's a lot to keep track of. But then we have this whole Trump meme coin thing.
Yeah, the report actually jokingly called them the meme coin emperors.
It's just wild. Trump and Melania launching their own meme coins, and they were worth billions, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
What does this tell us about where the crypto market is right now?
Well, it definitely makes you think about what meme coins really are and what their role is in the whole crypto ecosystem. Are they just speculative assets that are driven by hype and, celebrities? Or is there something more to them?
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen meme coins blow up in popularity before, but this just feels different. It's a former president facing legal challenges who's launching a meme coin. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's definitely unprecedented, and it could have a big impact on how meme coins are seen and regulated in the future. Will this make more people interested in altcoins? And will that push them into the mainstream? Or will this just reinforce the idea that meme coins are a fad? I guess we'll have to see what happens. It really is a lot to take in. I think it's important to remember that, the crypto market is still pretty young.
Yeah.
And it's changing so fast.
Yeah.
Things like this Trump meme coin launch, they can really shake things up and make it hard to know where things are going.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a wild ride. But let's move on to some other stuff the report mentions, like the Ethereum Foundation is dealing with some staking concerns. What's that all about?
Right. So Ethereum is in the process of moving to a proof-of-stake system. And staking is a big part of that. It lets people lock up their ETH to help secure the network and get rewards.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what are the concerns exactly? What did the report say?
Well, the main concern is that it could lead to centralization. Like, if too much ETH is staked by just one entity, like the Ethereum Foundation itself, then they could end up with way too much control over the network.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. It kind of goes against the whole idea of decentralization.
Exactly. So the Ethereum Foundation is looking for ways to get more people involved in staking so that you don't have just a few big players calling all the shots.
It sounds like a tough balancing act.
Yeah.
They have to make sure the network is secure, but also keep it decentralized. That can't be easy.
It's definitely a challenge, and it really shows how complicated it is to build and maintain a truly decentralized financial system.
That's true. So speaking of challenges, the report also mentions that Gemini is setting up a European hub in Malta. Why Malta? Out of all the places they could have chosen.
Well, Malta has been really proactive in creating a crypto-friendly regulatory environment. They were one of the first countries to set up a legal framework for crypto assets. And with MiCA going into effect in Europe, Gemini probably sees Malta as a strategic place to be.
So it's a way for them to kind of get ahead of the regulations and position themselves as a leader in the European market.
Exactly. And it also shows how regulation can actually attract major players to the crypto space, even though it's often seen as a burden.
Yeah, that makes sense. Having a clear regulatory framework can make things more stable and predictable. And that's appealing to big institutional investors.
Definitely. And that's what we're seeing with MiCA. It's leveling the playing field and helping to create a more mature and regulated crypto market in Europe.
That's really interesting. It sounds like Europe might become a major hub for the crypto industry.
It's definitely a possibility. And the U.S. might risk falling behind with its more fragmented and uncertain regulatory landscape.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Bitcoin's potential is like digital gold. The complexities of Ethereum's move to proof of stake, and the different approaches to regulation in the US and Europe. It's clear that the crypto world is constantly evolving.
Yeah, it's a dynamic and exciting space for sure. You have to be constantly learning and adapting to keep up.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up, I want to talk about one more thing from the report. Radium, which is a decentralized exchange,
Yeah.
actually managed to gain like 3%, even though the overall market dipped. How'd they do that?
Well, Radium is built on the Solana network, which is known for being really fast and having low transaction fees. And they've also made some smart improvements to their liquidity protocols. So they've attracted more traders and increased their volume.
It sounds like it's a combination of a good platform being part of a thriving ecosystem and making some strategic moves.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder that even in a volatile market, there are still opportunities out there for people who are paying attention and doing their research.
It's also a good reminder that there's so much more to the crypto world than just Bitcoin and meme coins. There's a whole ecosystem of projects and innovations happening.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the things that makes the crypto space so fascinating. There's always something new to learn and explore.
So as we kind of start to wrap up this deep dive into the crypto world, what's like the one key takeaway you'd want our listeners to remember?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the crypto world is full of surprises. It's always changing, it's unpredictable, and it's full of opportunities. So whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, the key is to stay informed, stay curious, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, it's really cool to see a project like Radium succeed when the rest of the market is down.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what other cool stuff is out there just waiting to be found.
That's what's so great about crypto. You know, there's always something new, and it never stops changing. I mean, think about it. Just a few years ago, most people didn't even know what an NFT was, and now it's like a multi-billion-dollar market.
It's true. Things move so fast. So for someone like you who's trying to stay on top of everything, what's the best way to do it?
I think the most important thing is to be curious, but like in a smart way. You know, don't just follow the hype. Do your research, look into different projects, understand the technology, and really think about what their potential is.
So don't just jump in because everyone else is.
Yeah.
Actually take the time to understand what you're getting into.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask questions. There's so much information out there online, like forums, blogs, podcasts like this one. You can learn from experts and connect with other people who are into crypto.
It seems like community is a big part of it too.
Oh, for sure. The crypto community is really passionate and supportive. Don't be afraid to reach out, join discussions, and learn from other people. You'd be surprised how much you can learn just by sharing ideas.
That's great advice. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the crypto world, what's the one message you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it's this. The crypto world is a roller coaster. There will be ups and downs. And there will be times when it feels like everything's going crazy. But remember, crypto is more than just technology. It's a movement. It's about creating a financial system that's more decentralized, transparent, and fair. And whether you're in it for the technology, the money, or the principles, one thing's for sure. It's going to be an amazing ride.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. So to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
It was great being here.
And until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious.